town of Yelm on our way to Mt Rainier. Yelm is, I don't know, 15 miles northeast of Olympia, northeast of Olympia. Anyway, Yelm's kind of a weird town. It's, if I'd guess its history, it has to be logging. Most of these towns in western Washington started out as logging towns, but it's a weird combination of there are some very rich people that live in Yelm, and then you, on the flip side, you've got extreme poverty. My dad used to say there are people that don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. But then they're rubbing shoulders. There doesn't seem to be any zoning laws that go on around Yelm. So you'll have a trailer on the property right next to a mansion. I don't know how big Yelm is. If I had to guess, it's maybe 5,000, 7,000 people. It could be bigger. It seems bigger because I'm about to turn onto the main street. The main street is like just constant shopping. It's like one big shopping center. It just seems to go on for a solid mile. But so that makes Yelm seem a little bigger. The other claim to fame to Yelm is it's the home of J.Z. Knight. If you're not familiar with J.Z. Knight, she has a spiritual school based on her claiming to be the reincarnation of an ancient warrior called Ramtha. And, before you start saying how crazy that is, this school's been open for, God, I'm going to guess 40 years, maybe longer, 50 years. Jay-Z has made a lot of money in the school of Ramtha, or whatever the hell they call it. But a lot of people, a lot of famous people. If you remember the actress from long ago, Linda Evans, who was in Dynasty and who was in, what was that old Western she was in with Lee Majors? Anyway, Linda Evans has given millions to the school. So, anyway, J.Z. Knight, or as she prefers to be called, Ramtha, and this is Yelm. We're on our way to Mt Rainier. We are now on Washington Highway 7, which is called the Mountain Highway. There's two main ways for tourists to enter the national park. This is the southwestern entrance, which takes you to Longmire Lodge and Paradise Lodge, which is, I'd have to guess that's the majority of visitors to Mt Rainier National Park will go on this entrance. I'm not sure why that is, but I guess, whatever. I'm not even going to guess, but it's just a two-lane road. Goes for 32 miles, and eventually you get to the main entrance, and then Longmire, which we'll show you in a little while, and Paradise, which I'll show you in a little while. The other main entrance to the park is the northeast entrance on the other side of the mountain, and that's called Sunrise Visitor Center. But we are heading for the southwest entrance and eventually Paradise. Alright, from Mountain Highway on our way to Mt Rainier, Maggie and me. This is Alder Lake State Park. I'm sorry, Max. I've actually never been here. It's on the other side of the lake from what I'm used to, but this lake is, I think it's actually a reservoir. It's formed by the Nisqually River, And the power station down the lake is La Grande. A lot of electricity comes out of this, and a lot of drinking water, I guess. But they've got swimming beaches, and I always laugh about that because this is glacier fed, and you got to be braver than I am to go swimming in that lake. I've waded out into it, and I waded right back to the shoreline as fast as possible. But families come here and kids swim here all the time, so maybe I would have too when I was younger. No longer. No longer. And we're coming into LB. No, Maggie, no. Just, you know, it's just, I don't know what LB, again, had to be lumber. Had to be. And now it's just a place to gas up. It's actually got a tourist train. There's the Hobo Inn and one of the cabooses where you can get a meal. But then that train that's the station right there. You can ride a train to one of the local lakes, tourist train. It only goes to the lake and back. Historic LB Church, can you see that? Sure you can. LB Market. These places have been here seemingly forever. Anyway, that's LB, and if you were to turn here and go right, you would go to the logging town of Morton. It's about, I don't know, I guess 12 miles down that way. And we're approaching Ashford, and then 13 miles to the national park. And we're entering the community town of Ashford. Grocery store there. Ashford is you know, like a hiker and climber. I don't know, supply town. It's the Mountaineers right there, Whitaker Mountaineers. Whitakers are like famous in this area for having climbed Mt Rainier so many times, and they have a guide business that takes people up to the summit. And this old general store has been here forever. I actually really enjoy that general store. Thank God it's still open. I've seen 2 stores that have been closed. I'm going to pull off and let a car get by me. Anyway, this is Ashford, and the final 6 miles or so to the park are tourist mecca with hotels or motels really, and there's a restaurant called the Copper Creek Restaurant, which if you're ever there, stop in. Great food, great fresh pies, and just motel after motel after motel after this until you get to the park. All right, bye. And I think you can see up ahead the sign that we're entering the park. Hey, a word to the wise, if you're not familiar with Mt Rainier, you're coming here for the first time, come very early in the morning or come later in the afternoon. It's overflowing. They don't have the parking to handle the tourists. And they're trying to rectify that, and they've got shuttle buses that go up during peak season, but it's pretty rare now when you come like late morning, early afternoon, that you're not in a lineup like this just trying to get into the park. And then parking will be a problem when we get to the lodges at Longmire and Paradise. So just a word for the wise, but this is Mt Rainier National Park. We're entering, and next stop will be Longmire. Okay, we made it to Longmire. This is the This is where well, okay. Historically, the main lodge was up at Paradise, which will be our next stop, but that historic lodge had to do a major remodel, and then they built a new lodge, which wasn't nearly as cool. So the Longmire Lodge is, still a historic building that's in use. They rent rooms. They've got a restaurant, pretty good food. And that's this here with the big porch. I suspect that a lot, I should have done my history reading. I suspect a lot of the buildings here are a product of CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, back during the Great Depression. But I'd have to do some confirmation on that. Anyway, there's the main lodge, National Park Inn, and if this were a clear day, we would see Mt Rainier right over that ridge there. But it is not a clear day. The old gas station. I think the Longmire Ranger Station is right over there. Yeah. National Park headquarters, and all the staff housing is back there. Anyway, this is Longmire. Looks like it might be clearing up, so I'm gonna walk Maggie a little. We're going to go up to Paradise. Well, as luck would have it, we are not going to see Mt Rainier today. That's where it would be. And it's hidden under a blanket of fog and clouds, low clouds. And we're not going to get a parking spot. Parking spot is filled. That over there is the Tatoosh Range. Some great hiking. My favorite hike. Short hike is Pinnacle Peak. That's over there. A little disappointing, but I kind of knew it coming down here. If this was a clear day, Mt Rainier would just be towering over us from right there. We're at 5,000 feet, which is the highest point that you can drive on this road. I guess Sunrise is like 1,000 feet higher. But Mt Rainier, too bad. I'll give you a photo of it in a second. It's hard to explain to people. Mt Rainier just dominates the Puget Sound area. It's easily the tallest, well, it's several hundred feet short of being the tallest peak in North America. Or, yeah, well, no, contiguous to the United States. Just short of Mount Whitney. But as far as volume, the base of it, it's huge. It's the biggest mountain as far as base. And it's just, it's literally a mile higher than any other surrounding peak. It's just huge, and yeah, I mean, you can see it from 100 miles away in either direction. Always been with me, always part of the backdrop. Pretty spectacular. Mt Rainier, and that's going to be it.